And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review. This is Gazza from Sigma Alliance X. What's happening, Sigma Alliance X? So shout out to them, and also shout out to all of Gazza's shard mates. Obviously, they're working together to make sure everybody gets high scores and theory craft together and help each other figure out which arena teams work best or which ones need help. So pretty cool. Shout out to the shard mates for really being that kind of symbiotic relationship where everybody can help teach each other about arena. Kind of cool. And of course, Sigma Alliance is doing really, really well. Gazza is a Dolphin, been playing for a year and has hyper focus, has done really well for himself. And we want to talk about today arena, kind of how to mod the arena team that he has. And then also beating the Sith, kind of struggling a little bit with Sith teams from time to time. He has a team that should be able to beat the Sith, even, you know, the most powerful Sith teams. But there are some other suggestions that I have to kind of help out with these, because I know there's Sith variants that make it difficult. And really it's going to come down to obviously speed in arena, because the faster your team is, the more they're able to complete what it is you're trying to complete. So we're going to go through arena. We're also going to talk about, you were saying that you might want to do Night Sisters in first order, and then Ewoks. We'll get into that. And then kind of what should you focus on first, Night Sisters first order, Ewoks, yada, yada. So we'll get into that. All right. So let's go ahead and get into your arena team. So the first thing about your arena team is you're going to continue to use Jedi Training Rey, R2-D2, BB-8, and General Kenobi. Those four are for sure, because there's so much Foresight synergy, and those really are characters that you need. You need the tank to kind of protect your team, the critical hit immunity, all of the ability to do the cleansing with R2-D2 on his on everyone's basic when they crit, and the ability for Jedi Training Rey to just run the team the way that she needs to. All that looks great. Now, Thrawn is a good addition, and he's one of the three suggestions I have for that slot. And Thrawn should be able to fracture, and in the meantime be able to ability block people with his basic by countering. And he should, in this slot, be able to help you with that meta. But I know you're struggling with that meta, so another option in that slot would also be CLS, Commander Luke Skywalker. If they're having two tanks and you're struggling with a two-tank team, CLS will also be able to do buff immunity on a tank, and you could put him in the slot of actually General Kenobi and have Thrawn's fracture and CLS's ability for buff immunity. And you wouldn't get the tank, but you would be a tankless team. So defensively, you're not going to fall. So this would be something you could do offensively as a climbing team to really kind of help you get through those. And then you could leave General Kenobi on defense. However, CLS is pretty tanky, just like Thrawn. They both regenerate their protection, and they're both great additions to this team. But my suggestion, which a lot of people in my top 5 are doing when they're running Jedi Training Rey with BB-8 and R2-D2, is they have General Kenobi as their tank, and instead of Thrawn, they're actually running Han Solo, because they can stun the Darth Vader, and they can really start to get their train of turn meter and all of that stuff up and running. And you can also do a variant where you have Thrawn, and instead of again tankless, instead of General Kenobi, run Han Solo. So there's a lot of options in those back two slots of whether you want a tank or no tank. Thrawn's phenomenal, General Kenobi's phenomenal, but sometimes you're going to need to add a Han Solo in there in place of one or the other, because he's going to bring to you that ability to kind of gain control of the thing. Now, I looked at your mods, and really your issue with mods is speed. You're modding pretty correctly. You're doing what you're supposed to, but you're really struggling with the speed. You're going to have to focus on mods and purchasing mods when you can out of the mod store for credits when you have credits, and try to continue to get those really good mods, because for Jedi Training Rey, for where you're at in the game and your arena that you're going against, the arena teams, you really need Jedi Training Rey at over 100 speed secondary, plus 100 speed if possible, as close to 100 speed as you can. And she's not the fastest on your team either. That's the thing. That's a minimum for arena for where you're at a little over a year in. You really want that plus 100 speed. For R2-D2 and BB-8, you really need to make them hyper fast. I'm saying at least 120 plus speed. If you can get to 120 plus speed, if you can get to 110 or 115, then so be intermediate. BB-8 you'd want BB-8 to be the fastest, and then R2-D2 the next fastest. Of course, your General Kenobi looked really great. You did a great job modding General Kenobi. And then for that last slot, you know, Thrawn, Han Solo, CLS. With Thrawn, you need 120 plus speed, just like R2 and BB-8. And then you could use health mods, kind of like you did. Han Solo, you will want to make for arena fast, 100 plus speed, crit chance, crit damage, get his critical chance to as close to 70% as possible, and then another 216% crit damage if possible. Add offense secondaries. And then of course CLS, same thing as Han Solo, 100 plus speed, crit chance, crit damage. Really go all in on those. And those characters in combination in those back two slots should really help you kind of carve out whatever team it is that you're going against. Now, hopefully that kind of helps with what your speeds should be, so you could really start to look at all the mods that you have on all your characters and figure out how to get the absolute fastest mod sets that you have over to these characters to get them as fast as possible. And if you can't get them any faster, hopefully throwing in Han Solo in General Kenobi's spot, or, you know, CLS in General Kenobi's spot and going tankless, maybe that will help be the edge that you need to really be able to chew through those teams. And then just remember the kill order when you're going against those Sith meta teams is Emperor Palpatine first, get him gone, and then you want to kill Darth Nihilus. Now, we know if they're using Scion or Sith Trooper, you're going to have CLS or Thrawn to be able to put buff immunity or fracture up to make sure that you can impose your will as you're doing it. Remember, Emperor Palpatine, then Darth Nihilus, and then after that, their Thrawn and their Scion need to go, one or the other, whichever one you have an access to killing faster, go ahead and do that, and then kill the other one, and leave their Darth Vader till the end. I know that a lot of people know Darth Vader does a lot of damage, but really, he's the lowest priority on that totem pole of kill order. So you talk now about Night Sisters, First Order, and Ewoks, and I know you said you wanted to do Ewoks because you want those extra Zetas, and I agree, but you don't need any of these Ewoks for the extra Zetas. And now that we know that you're going to be trying to get those Zetas, what you need, the key to that event, is just a 7-star wicket. Once your wicket hits the 7th star, it unlocks the Zeta portion of that challenge, and you could use any team. Any team. You don't have to have Night Sisters, or don't have to have Ewoks, excuse me, in that section. So all you need to do is farm wicket up to 7 stars, get them up to 7 stars as fast as possible, and once you have wicket 7 stars, and you could even get some of his shards out of shipments if you save up your crystals that you're earning in arena. It would take a while and it might chew up some of your crystals, but get him up to 7 stars. He's essentially just a key to help you access the event, and then you could use any of your teams. So my suggestion right now is not to focus on any of the Ewoks except Wicket, and don't worry about his gear. Just get Wicket to 7 stars. Just that. That's it. Then we're going to move over to Night Sisters and First Order. And Night Sisters and First Order, yes, I agree with you. You should be working on both of them, and you'll actually work on both of them at the same time. I'll explain in a minute. All right, so your Night Sisters look pretty good, and you don't need a whole lot of gear. And so what you're going to do to focus on Night Sisters is you're going to focus on their stars, because right now Mother Talzin, Talia, Night Sister Zombie, these characters need their stars. So you're going to focus on those 3 characters, specifically Talzin, Talia, and Zombie, to get them to 7 stars. And all you're going to focus on right now are the stars for this team. You do want to eventually Zeta these characters, and there's 4 Zetas to be had. I'm going to give you a Zeta priority list at the end, but I'm going to tell you what those Zetas are. Both of Asajj Ventress's Zetas, Mother Talzin's unique, and Old Daka's unique. And then while you're working on starring up Talzin, Talia, and Zombie, just their stars, you will work on First Order gear. Now, you don't have to star any of the First Order, so you don't have to worry about farming them for their stars. You're just going to farm them for their gear. That's it. And for the team that you have, you could farm, obviously, the star for First Order Executioner to get them up to 7th stars. That would be 4 characters, the 3 Night Sisters and the 1 Executioner that you're farming for stars. And then you would be farming strictly just gear on First Order. And for First Order, you want Kylo Ren Unmasked. You're going to have 2 Zetas you're going to want to do on his. First Order Stormtrooper, you have 7 stars, gear 8, so that's good. There's a Zeta on him. Kylo Ren OG, Kylo Kylo Ren. You're going to want to put a Zeta on him and continue to gear him up. First Order Officer, you're going to want to continue to gear him up. And of course, First Order Executioner, star and gear him up. There's 4 Zetas for First Order and 4 Zetas for Night Sisters, and you should be able to divide and conquer, literally meaning you're going to do Night Sisters and First Order at the exact same time, with really just focusing on starring up the Night Sisters and First Order Executioner, and then gearing up your First Order that I mentioned. Those are the characters that I would worry about. As far as, like I said, Wicket, just get him to 7 stars. That's all you got to worry about with him. And then as far as your Zeta-ing, your First Order is already all 7 stars for the most part, and so you can immediately use them right now in raids and stuff. And so because of that, I would worry about their Zetas first, so that way you can make this team even more viable and get even more damage right away in territory wars and in the Sith raids. And so with that, the very first set of Zetas I will suggest, the first 3, is going to be Kylo Ren's Unmasked's lead, First Order Stormtroopers unique, and then OG Kylo Ren's unique. You'll make both Kylo Ren's viable by having Kylo Ren Unmasked leadership, the OG Kylo Ren, his Zeta, and First Order Stormtrooper, his unique. Those 3 are the most important. After that, by then, hopefully, those 3 Zetas are done. I would move over to your Night Sisters, and by then I hope these guys are all 7 stars that you need. And then I would do the next 3 Zetas, and that would be Asajj Ventress lead, Mother Talzin unique, Asajj Ventress unique. Those are the next 3. So the first 3 are going to be First Order Zetas that I suggest. The next 3 are going to be Night Sister Zetas that I suggest. And the last 2 are going to be optional, and that's Kylo Ren Unmasked's unique and, of course, Old Daka's unique. Both of those are unnecessary, but they do make the teams more durable in the long run. So you could do those as the last 2 Zetas after you've done the first set of 3 and the second set of 3. But either way, that's 6 to 8 Zetas and priority on how to do it. I think you're right on track with the Night Sisters and First Order idea. Dump the Ewoks. Just remember Wicket. He's the only one that matters. Get him to 7 stars. Don't gear him. Just keep him 7 stars, and that'll unlock, and then you'll be able to use whoever that you want for this team. Now, as far as the Sith for Phase 4, you were just more concerned about Sith Phase 4. The rest you're doing all right. You're using the teams. The only other thing is you said, I think I need Night Sisters, and really this team, once it's maxed out, can do 8 to 9 million, which is the highest scoring in the Sith raid for all phases. So yes, this is definitely a priority. Like I said, the reason why you're going to divide and conquer is Night Sisters and First Order are equally as important for you in all areas of the game, but your Night Sisters aren't ready yet because of the star rarity that's required to get them into the 4th phase of the Sith raid. You're going to have to get them, obviously, for heroic. You're going to have to get them 7 stars. So that's the only reason why I suggest Zetas going to First Order first. But yes, this is the long-term thing. Now, in the meantime, when you're doing these Zetas on the First Order and building that First Order team up, you also can use them in Phase 4 as well. You could definitely use them in Phase 4, and they're going to do okay. If you use them, you're lucky if you can get 1 to 2 million, but it's something that you can throw towards the wall until you get your Night Sisters up and running. Now, Gazza, I hope this has helped. You got a great team. I think with the tools that you have in your tool belt, so to speak, with your Thrawn and Han Solo and CLS, you should be able to just swap out those back 2 slots to accommodate whatever team it is that you're going against, and you're going to have to really start focusing on mods. Find a gold mod that shows a 5-speed secondary or higher, and any gold mod that shows a 5-speed secondary or higher, if the primary stat looks decent, just buy it and hope the RNG gods bless you. But don't buy anything other than that, because otherwise you'll waste your credits on things that won't roll good and you'll just be disappointed. So as always, if you have any questions, Gazza, hit me up privately and keep your gaming on. Warrior out.